There it is. Okay, let's see if I can pull this off. I'm Greg. Jeff. There we go.
I'm Jeff.
Exciting.
Finger
And,
bang.
I know.
Finger bang.
And we are the 4040 men, and I finally got the right finger, well, the left finger to point over to the right side, which was good.
That was the name of that South Park boy band, right? It was
Finger Bang,
wasn't
yeah.
it?
Finger Bang. Yeah. I'm going to finger bang you. Oh, God, it's such a great episode.
Like I said, I haven't seen South Park in God knows how long, but
it's
25th anniversary this year. 25 years.
And they snuck Rush in to play as well, like because Primus was Primus has always been the who does the opening credits, and Primus and Rush are good buddies. And so Primus brought Rush with them, and the fact that they make fun of Canada, there's always like a reference to Rush, because Matt and Trey totally love those guys as well, but they always slam Rush at some point in it as well. So
I had no idea.
Oh yeah.
I guess I've watched enough. Like, I mean, I did watch Team America World Police the other day just to watch it again. But I was watching a reaction video.
Yeah.
When you're watching reaction videos to people who've never seen South Park at all, and then they watch that movie, and then the puppet sex scene comes on, oh man, people are just like, "What the hell's going on?"
It's such a great idea.
Puppet sex scene, it really is.
And I love their tagline for the movies. Like I'm always a big fan of movie taglines, especially if they're good. And that one was "Terror hangs by a thread." Literally hanging by a thread. One of the other ones, one of the other good ones is "Roadhouse," busting heads and breaking hearts. Oh yeah.
Oh God.
Bad movie, great tagline.
Either they did or they're going to redo Roadhouse. I've been reading somewhere.
You don't need to redo everything.
It's a terrible movie then, it'll be a terrible movie now. Like I know people love Roadhouse because I know there's some people who just love it. I don't know. I get the reason why people love like the hokey movies and crappy movies and stuff. I've just never really been a big fan of what's his face?
Patrick Swayze?
Yeah. I mean, he was great in that Saturday Night Live skit with Chris Farley. That was fantastic. When they were trying with the Chippendale dancers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that may be one of the funniest.
Your body is much better. But I mean, his moves are sexy, but your body is much better.
That's brilliant. I've been trying. Like, I don't know if I mentioned, I'm trying to get my niece, my brother and I want to show her Spaceballs. We think she's old enough to see Spaceballs because it's one of our favorite movies.
It's time.
But of all the movies that are out, like re-released on all these different platforms, you have to pay for it on every platform. There's not one platform that has it actually for free. Right. I mean, it's only $5, like no big deal. But I just find it weird that Spaceballs in particular is like the one movie I found where you have to pay for it.
Mel Brooks is finding a way. Mel Brooks' estate finding a way to get some cash. I don't know, whatever.
Part of his merchandising.
Merchandising, must be. Yeah. Well,
I actually sent them the other day. Was they were saying, "What's your favorite comedy movie?" And I found this online. It just said Spaceballs the meme.
Top secret. That's fine.
We found shit.
So 3:57. It took you 3 minutes and 50 seconds. That's all right though. But hey, that was a reference. It wasn't just a. It was
a direct quote.
Yes. Okay. Well, anyway, this week, we
gotta start with Sunday again.
Yeah, and we took 3 out of the 4 games from the Yanks, but I mean that last one we lost, and it wasn't a major you take 3 out of 4 from the division champs, you're looking okay, right? You lose the game 4-2. Yeah.
Manoah was great, but the whole thing about that game was the whole Garrett Cole losing his shtick for no reason.
Idiot.
Like screaming at Manoah for hitting Judge, and even Judge is like, I don't think he hit me on purpose. Like, you don't hit somebody on purpose in a close game like that. No. And actually, that ties back into the game yesterday.
Yeah.
When Manoah hit Joe Adell people online were flipping out because they thought he did it on purpose because Adele hit 2 home runs in that game on Friday. Anyway, we'll get into that. But
Yeah,
Manoah throws inside. Generally,
yeah,
he throws inside, and he's going to hit people just like
yeah.
Dave Steve used to do.
And you're gonna hit people in the hand or in the shoulder or whatever because you're gonna throw inside. Like
Didn't aim
you
for
get
the
you get hit.
head.
You get it's and that's the thing is like he did okay. Like he 8 strikeouts. Like only
Yeah,
two walks, six. Like he went through six, and there was an error which they got a run
yeah,
out of, and then he gave up one earned run, and then the instant he goes out, another two, right? But I mean when the team's
yeah,
not hitting, and like when the Jays aren't hitting, like we got five hits in that one, and
yeah.
you're not going to do
And
much.
he's got a. The other thing is I'm noticing with Manoah again happened this one. Like he's still pitching great,
Mhm.
but he's starting to lose velocity. They mentioned it a
And
few times in the broadcast yesterday that his fastball velocity is down. Like it's not down that much. Don't get me wrong, and his secondary's fine. But I'm starting to wonder if he is approaching a dead arm period because he's never thrown this many innings
well,
before.
you'd
And
mentioned that you'd
he's up
mentioned
with the
that last
league
week.
leaders at innings, not
Yeah,
just like he's throwing more than he's ever had before. He's like up there, the top five of leading the league in
he's
innings,
what is he? He's 155 innings, I think. What is it?
something like that.
155.2 innings. Yeah, 155.2
Yeah.
innings. Yeah.
So you kind of start to wonder a little bit, like you have. I mean, I know you have to push him. You just
Hmm.
do, right?
Well, that's the thing. Is like
You don't have a choice.
yeah, and he's
Um,
and he's
but
he's the acknowledged ace. Literally, like he is the ace of the staff right now. So it's kind of in a
yeah,
point round where he's got to get through this. Like they could even probably give him a skip a start. Like because we've got a pretty, and I want to say pretty lax schedule
well,
coming up this week against two sort of a lot weaker teams, National League Central. Um, let him miss those. Let him miss those.
see the thing for me is I don't know if you can really do that because do we have the pitching to pick it? Like we are going to talk about that later on, but with the fifth starter situation we have right now,
Hmm.
can
Yeah,
we? You know
I
what I
mean,
mean? Like he's not really do like Mitch White. We'll talk about
hmm,
got smoked, right?
yeah. Well, that's a few games on. We'll move on to the next game, the
Yep.
first one against Boston, and Stripling again, second great start in a row. Like I mean, he was almost perfect the game before, and this one, six Ks, 6 innings, gives up 6 hits, one walk, but like he's given up a run over 15 innings. Like
Well, they're saying
I'm,
that he has one of the top five ERAs right
mhm,
now since he joined the rotation of anybody in the American League.
yeah.
So he's. I'm starting to wonder: is he finally reached the point where he's no longer a swingman anymore?
I
Can we
personally think
just
he's a
make him
starter.
a starter?
Yeah, he's a starter. Like he's now started 16 games this season. Like for
Yep.
us, he's 6-3, and I mean like he's got a 104 WHIP. Like I'm a big fan of the WHIP, but you're mentioning his ERA and it's 2.84. Like those are solid starter numbers. And I mean
Yeah.
in 16 games he's got 80 strikeouts. Like also they're counting some of the strikeouts in relief, but I think he looks great. As I said, I've always followed him as a as a fantasy baseball fan because I picked him up as a rookie at the Dodgers, and he was always the swingman for the Dodgers because the Dodgers have this
Yep.
insane pitching rotation, so he could never get in. But now there's literally a spot for him. Like he's probably a number three or number four. Because you've
Yep.
got
I'm
you've
looking at
got
some of his Statcast numbers,
yeah.
which are not crazy, but the two that stand out, right? Everything else is pretty not great, but the reason why he's doing so well is this. His chase rate is in the 91st percentile and his walk percentage is in the 96th
Yeah,
percentile.
like he
But
doesn't walk, guys.
if you talk about his fastball velocity, 22. His fastball spin 18, whiff percentage 30%, barrel percentage 30, hard hit rate 63.
When you're talking about the percentile for a second there, when you're saying we're talking about his fastball 22, I'm like, man, I can throw faster than 22. 22
But
percentile.
exactly.
22.
He's got no velocity.
Yeah.
But he's doing amazing things right now. Like I think, if he's not kept as a starter next year, like if for some reason they try to bring him back as a swingman, he
No,
will not sign here.
no,
He
no.
won't, and because
He'll be a
he's a free
starter.
agent, right?
He'll be a starter, and I feel that Mitch White will inherit his role as the swingman. But
I think they will.
Yeah,
Mitch White. Well, like so, we'll get into Mitch White again
yeah.
too, because he had a. We'll talk about that for the Friday game.
Yeah.
But yeah, Stripling did great in the first Boston game. We get to the second Boston game, and
Well,
the good thing was
we also got to mention Springer with 3 RBIs in that one. The team got 13 hits too, so the bats came back.
Is that the game where he had 5 hits?
5 hits, 3 RBIs.
Was that against the Yankees?
No, well he had 5 hits against the Yankees. Springer in the last in the last 2 weeks. He's in the last week he's 12 for 19.
Yeah,
12 for 19.
That's since he came off the? Is that since he came off?
Since he came off the injured, yeah. And 12 for 19.
That's great.
3 homers and a 6.32 average. Here's the killer though: 2 strikeouts for 25 at bats. So he's taking some walks in there as well. Yeah, but 2 strikeouts.
For him, his big thing, right? Like I've been looking up Baseball Savant and looking at these extra stats and stuff.
Yeah.
He's just hitting the ball hard. He's in 92nd percentile of exit velocity. Everything else is above average, pretty much. But his average exit velocity is in the 45th, but his maximum exit velocity is 92nd, which means he hits balls really soft and really hard for some reason.
No, but I mean, it also will help a defense not be able to predictably play against him. Like if he's going to be a hard hitter or a soft hitter, he's going to spray the ball all over the place. So that could actually be a designed ploy in him. Hey, it's $150 million. You better change it up.
He's in the top 15 in OPS and slugging, so that's pretty good. Let's see. That's interesting.
Pretty good. There's 900 players in Major League Baseball, and he's in the top 15.
Let's see.
Actually, no. That was. Sorry, that's just the American League. Yeah.
Let's see. Games played. No, I'm just looking at some extra stat. No, there's not a lot of extra stuff with him. It's just him being on the injured list, and that's the thing with Springer from now on is how often is he going to play?
Yeah.
But I think I'm glad. I'll tell you one thing. I'm glad we have Jackie Bradley Jr. instead of Bradley Zimmer.
Well, that's the thing. It's there's a month left in the season, right? And we're making the playoffs as it stands right now. Unless something goes horrendously wrong. So I have a feeling, Springer will be 3 or 4 games on, a game off, 3 or 4 games on, and Bradley Jr. is a great replacement.
The thing I'm trying to figure out is why Kevin Biggio is playing first base as much as he is. Not that he's playing a ridiculous amount, but he's playing a lot more than I thought he would. I don't know whether they have a problem with the defense for Vladdy, which is weird because he's been one of the best defenders. Or if Vladdy's hurt,
there's a possibility. There's a possibility, he could be hurt. It could be that wrist thing, but I haven't done a rant on Pissy Jays and not said, I don't know, maybe there's something else they know.
It's just it's just weird. Something's not 100% right.
Yeah.
And I just can't quite figure out what's going on there. And again, I mean, Vladdy's still doing better than most, but he's still not having a Vladdy season. And same with Bo. Yeah. Bo's not having a Bo season either. Teo's not having a Teo season. There's a reason why we're not. Yeah, but one thing, at least our bullpen has been killing it. Yeah, and we'll get into that with one of the other games because they needed it.
Yeah, well, we've got 2 against Boston. The next ones, both of them go to extra innings, and both of them, were.
Barrios was great in the Wednesday game.
Yeah,
and the bullpen held it up pretty
Yeah,
much. Like
yeah, and then
they
yet again,
really,
Springer 3 hits, Kirk 3 hits as well,
yep,
and the team got 10 hits. So like they were over 50% 2 guys, but Springer again another 3 hit game. Like that's insane. So
yeah, he's he's the catalyst. I mean, there's a reason why he's batting leadoff. I'm just
yeah,
like I said, I hope he can bat more than just a little bit of leadoff.
yeah,
Because he gets 3 hits. Everybody else, I'm looking down. Everybody else has one. Kirk had 3 hits, and
yeah.
maybe he's breaking out of his little slump that he had, but I don't know for sure.
And
But if
then
you
next
look at the you look at the innings pitched for the bullpen, that's 5 innings pitched of no runs.
no runs. The well actually, and when we're talking defense, speaking of defense, Matt Chapman, he literally saved one of those games in the ninth inning,
Oh, that double
little
play,
double play. Oh yeah,
that was a
and
crazy double play.
that's and that ninth inning tie game saves the day, and that's one of the things we brought Matt Chapman over for was his glove. I mean, his bat is awesome, and his bat has was sort of dormant at the beginning of the season, but it's actually kicked into life. But now you're actually seeing his true
Yep.
value, the fact that he's one of the best for third baseman in the league.
Well, here's a little lucky one. I was looking at the lineup. The winner of this game was a Simber, and he's now got
Mm-hmm.
10 wins. To 10 wins as a
That's
reliever,
that's crazy.
which is crazy. That's
Mm-hmm.
like Mark Eichhorn territory,
Yeah,
Jim Gott territory, or no Dennis Lamp territory.
I
Dennis Lamp went
figure
like 10-0 one year as a reliever.
I
Yeah.
figure we can break to a commercial and then come back and talk about the travesty that was the two games against the Angels right now. So I figure we'll
Well, let's.
do Canadian Way.
Yeah.
Boom, there it is. All right. Well, folks, the fast fashion industry makes up about 10% of CO2 emissions and pollutes and dries up water resources. 85% of all textiles end up in the dump each year. Do you want to change those stats and look good while doing it? Then shop the Canadian Way. Clothing created by the Canadian Way is made from repurposed, recycled, and/or biodegradable materials, manufactured in CO2 neutral sites by workers who are paid a proper wage. All this within the great country of ours, Canada. I can point down. That's fine. I can get to point down, or actually even point to the hand. There we go. Yeah. So if you're tired of contributing to the endless supply of garbage produced by humanity, then shop the Canadian Way. Starting fall 2020, thecanadianway.ca. Boom.
I'm doing the running
Boom.
man, but I'm sitting down. I'm doing the running man.
For those of you on audio, it was awesome. Just got to
Yep.
mention that.
I was running just from the chest up. You could tell. Okay,
All
so
right.
the next game we were talking about was Thursday game. Again,
Against
bullpen.
against bottom of the league. Bottom of the league.
Nope.
Ah.
No, this is still Boston.
Oh,
We got the
we're still doing
Gosman
Boston.
start.
Okay, I thought we were talking about the
Gosman was
Angels. So
very
yeah,
average.
yeah. Okay,
Bullpen, another 5 shutout innings. And Romano pitched 2 of those innings. So they're stretching Romano out a little bit, which is okay because I mean he used to be a starter forever.
mm-hmm.
He was going to be a starter until I think when he went to Texas they started to change it around when we got him back,
Mm-hmm.
kind of kept him in the bullpen and yeah, good. So he's got like 27, like 28 saves after that one. He had 27 after the game before that. Where's my box scores? Let's see
Well,
now.
just this week alone for Romano, he's 4 appearances, 1-0 with a save, and he's allowed no runs as well.
Yep,
which is
sounds
good.
about right.
Yeah, and that's 6
so
games.
he got the win. So that was the one that we got the win.
Yeah.
And Trevor Richards blew the save in this one, just by a matter of where he was pitching. I mean, he only gave up 1 run and struck out 3 people. Trevor Richards has been doing better, thank God. Like his ERA has now dropped below 5. So I think the problem that some fans have when they look at numbers is they look at the overall numbers. They don't look at where they are lately.
Yeah.
And Trevor Richards his ERA has been consistently dropping.
Yeah.
Slowly but surely,
I
we
mean,
should get it.
he was at 1.18. um,
Yeah.
you may notice the grimace when I take a sip out of this. My sister gave me this new thermogenic product, and it's a
Yeah.
Canadian company, so I was gonna give it a try and see if we could market for them. Um, it's super sweet. Oh, like I feel like I have diabetes just drinking it right now. It's okay
That's like
though.
this water beverage that I drink. I've been
Oh,
finding lately. It's like $1 for one of the bottles. They're great, and
mhm.
it doesn't have sugar. It has that other whatever the hell they use that's not
Sucralose,
sugar. Yeah,
sucralose.
sucralose, and it tastes like pop. Like it tastes like a soda.
Oh wow.
But it's water. It's like 0 calorie, like lemon lime water or cherry whatever. It's pretty good. And
Yeah,
it's only $1.
yeah, a
Nothing's a
dollar.
dollar anymore except
Yeah.
this water. Okay, so then we head home after kicking Boston's butt,
And figure what
and
we take 6 to 7 against our division opponents, and then we come back for a
exactly.
little easy stint
And
against the
then
Angels.
the thing is, they left. Apparently, they left Boston, or they landed from Boston at like 5 o'clock in the morning, which
Mhm.
I don't understand why that happened, but it did.
They had
And
a
I'm
connecting
guessing,
flight in Riyadh, and then had a layover in Berlin, and then back.
like, how long is a flight from Boston to Toronto generally? Like, what, two
Two
hours maybe?
hours. Yeah.
Maybe. And yeah, so they're saying, and that coupled with, having the game the next day or whatever, it's just, I think there were a lot of factors that went into them getting their butts handed to them by
Hmm.
the Angels, 12-0. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't see, the only game I didn't see because I was at seeing a concert by my favorite band ever, and
How
I
was that,
hadn't
by the
seen
way?
them. It
Metric.
was amazing.
Yeah.
Metric was absolutely all I thought it would be and more. Unfortunately, they only got to play an hour and a half because of the stupid, curfew rules at the
Curfew
Budweiser
rules.
stage.
Hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
they had four bands play. And I only saw Metric. I didn't. I missed Interpol. Um,
Hmm.
I missed Spoon, and I missed whatever the name of the other band was. I didn't know who they were.
Yeah.
But for an hour and a half, Emily Haynes just killed it. I've never, and I've posted this in Facebook, but I've never seen or rarely seen the lead singer of a band show so much like true general emotion in the way she sang. Like she
Hmm.
literally brought me to tears twice.
But like
I don't cry.
she'll also be jumping around on stage, like jumping with the mic, singing
Yep.
while playing piano as well, like with one hand, but like
Yeah.
still jumping up and down
She's
and not
doing
missing
it,
a note.
and she did her
Yeah.
famous like hip wiggle, which like all the men just fell in love with her when she started doing her little hip thing. And she did what do you she always wears like a mini skirt dress and a
Hmm.
jacket and sneakers,
Yeah.
and did the same thing, and she killed it. The whole band killed. They sounded so good, and the sound of Budweiser stage is great.
Yeah.
It's really good. But that just that night alone, let's see, they had the Argos playing at BMO,
Hmm.
the X was on. They had this
Hmm.
concert going on, and then they had the Skydome Rogers Center filled to the brim for people watching the game. But the
Hmm.
weird thing was there was nothing at Scotiabank.
Oh well.
I'm like, if everything's gonna be full, but figure but the Scotiabank had nothing going on, which is very odd considering everybody else did.
Yeah.
And the X was packed. Trying to find my way from the getting off the go station exit to
It's
get
like one.
across to the
It's
Budweiser
you have to go
stage.
down,
Like,
around, and then across that bridge. Yeah.
yeah, but that, remember they have all the rides and stuff in there now. So now you got to
Yeah.
figure your way around all the gates. It took a while. Like I literally got there 10 minutes before Metric went on.
Connie's
But
small hands smells like cabbage. Yeah.
and I was trying to find like a friend of mine, a friend of ours actually, SARS, just a nickname from back in the day.
Hmm.
SARS got COVID,
Hmm.
literally the day before. She
which is
tested
which is
positive.
which is
Yeah,
it's kind of funny, like SARS and COVID. Yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
that's what I said. So she tested positive. She tested negative the same day. So she tested again the next day, like the day of, and she just couldn't do it. She really wanted to go, and I wanted to go with
Yeah.
her because she's a concert, like she's somebody who would appreciate it. I tried
Yeah.
all day to find people. It was just too late. People were at cottages, had other
I had to work.
plans. You were
Hmm.
flipping burgers,
Yeah.
but for a good cause.
Hmm.
And honestly, I'm glad I went by myself
Yeah.
because metric means a lot to me in terms of the traveling I've done. Like all the
Hmm.
countries I've been to, everywhere I went to, I've always had my music on me, and they were one of them that was always in my ear wherever I went. So their music means a lot to me, and I'm just glad I got to go and see it for myself because I didn't have to worry about sharing the experience with anyone. It sounds maybe kind of selfish,
Because
but
you're selfish.
and of course, and me trying to be the nice guy. There was this couple sitting in front of me, these two girls, and they were with another couple, this guy and a girl, and it was getting cold, right? It was getting, and I always pack for the cold, and so the girl asked the guy for a jacket, and he gave it to her, and I guess the guy's girlfriend didn't care. But the girl who received her girlfriend was just like, so I took my t-shirt, this big t-shirt. I mean, I had a 2XL tall t-shirt. It's
So
huge.
A cape.
Right, basically. And I just went to give it to them, but because of everything going on around me, it sent me to an attack.
Yeah.
So I gave her the t-shirt, and I was like, "This is," and I just sat back down again. And they're holding the shirt and they're looking at it like, "What the hell is this for?" And yeah, exactly. And then I got it back. I got a little bit back. I'm like, "She's cold, t-shirt," and they understood. And they're like, "Oh, and they're really thankful about it." And as the show's kind of going on, once I was finally able to get myself back together again, like, sorry, I got this thing. And it happened like 5 times trying to explain to them what the hell was going on. And they kind of accepted that I wasn't some weirdo. Like, that was what I was afraid of. Like, this random old dudes giving them, like, they're like, what is this guy doing? And it was just, I just wanted to give them, she's cold, give her a t-shirt. And they were very thankful, which was nice. So hopefully they're watching.
Doubt it. All right, so
anyway, they got their asses kicked 12-0 on that day.
We'll skip that one. The next game, 2-0.
That will lead into our other thing. It's
Otani and Manoa. So
it's a great
we'll
game.
hit a.
It was a great game.
We'll hit a quick commercial and then we can run through that. Do you want to do one or do you want me to do one? There's no wrong answer.
I'll do it. What the hell?
All right.
So as you can see, when you tune in and watch us, the great 40/40 men, we have commercials. And what do we have in those commercials? Well, we push the Canadian way, which is great. We push other companies that we believe in, like Shiloh Beer, 365sportscast.com, which airs us every Sunday at 5 p.m. So when you're watching this, that's what airs first. But we have room for other sponsors, and we have no problem using your stuff, as long as we believe in your stuff. If you can give me hair, we will use you. If you can make me lose 30 from here, we will use you. I will be your guinea pig for anything you want to try. If you want foods or booze, whatever it is, as long as we believe in your product, we will sell the heck out of it. Here on our website, you will get mentioned. So if you want to be one of our pandering types, please let us know. Send us something at jeff@thecanadianway.ca. We are working on getting an email for our 40/40 men. Hopefully we'll have that next week. But as I said, if you're looking to sell your stuff, sell it here. I'm your guinea pig. Okay, so yeah, Manoa and Otani was everything it was meant to be.
Yeah,
they lost 2-0, which is fine.
And Otani won the pitchers. Like there's nothing wrong
Otani
with
was
that
amazing.
One. Yeah,
it's amazing. The guy has like 8 pitches that he can use, and he throws them all really well. Like he hits 100 on his fastball, but he didn't use his fastball that much. He just has so much stuff. I can understand. Like I've never really watched him pitch before. Like it's always kind of been in the background, heard about it, and I didn't really see it. This is the first time I really sat down and watched him pitch, and it's crazy how good he is. And it's amazing how many people on fan forums can't give the poor guy credit for being a good pitcher. Yeah. They're just like, the Jays could hit nothing. Sometimes the pitcher is just better.
Yeah, like
And
he
Otani was
gave up 2 hits, 9 strikeouts, and 1 walk.
he
One
gave
walk.
up a hit in the first and a hit in the third.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's it.
and then shut it down.
I
And
mean,
but this thing, Manoah only gave up 4 hits, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts as well. Both of them pitched 7 innings. So
yeah,
like we just couldn't get it done for Manoah. So it's not like Manoah sucked either. Like Manoah was good too. And there was an error again, another error again, which got another run. But
yeah.
he gave up 1 run.
Again, one thing about this past few weeks or past week I've noticed, and I'll go again with we got to talk about Bo. There's something going on with him. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
what it is. He's a step slow when he's throwing. He's a step slow when he's like. There were just some plays where he should have like yesterday easy like literally the easiest ground ball comes to him. He scoops it up and he kind of that glove flip into his hand and he
Mm-hmm.
missed and he bobbled it, threw it. Runner was safe. Eventually scored. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's just there's something, and his at bats are useless. He doesn't. He hits. Yeah, he could have hit occasionally, but his uber aggressive approach is really becoming detrimental to him. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's just. It's like he's sitting on this. Like this is his last stand. Like I don't care. This is how I am, and you can be how you are. But if you're not willing to make adjustments, excuse me, if you're not willing to make adjustments to problems that you're having, like going 0-2 because you're going 0-2 immediately, that's a problem. If you can't recognize they're going to throw a slider to you low and away, that's a problem. Other
Mm-hmm.
hitters have started noticing that and they're trying to lay off that pitch. It's a very tough one to leave when you're a righty, but that's been the biggest problem. And then there's Teo, who's just
Well, so for
and
Teo's last seven, like when you're talking about like not making adjustments, we'll go the last seven games. He's 143 average, no homers, 2 hits, so and 1 RBI. But the big telling feature is 9 strikeouts, 9 strikeouts in that
yeah,
one. And then in his last 15 games, he's got a homer, he's got 8 hits, but 22 strikeouts, 22, and that's massive. Like that's
you know what
massive.
that
Sure, you're
is?
going to strike out.
That's
He's trying too
that's
hard. Like he's
2019 Teo.
yeah,
That's what it
but
is because
but you
that's
can
what he
see that
used to
he's
do.
he's overcompensating. It's like strength over brains. Just swing and swing and hope it hits.
And that's the thing. Like you've really got. There just seems to be no control. Like there's
Mm-hmm.
no. Like he. It's like they go with a plan, and as soon as it goes a little bit awry, they just have no idea what to do,
Yeah,
and they're just lost. Him and the,
like
the two of them are just like Chapman's going to strike out, but at least he's getting hard hits, and he's still getting hard hit rates. Like he's hitting the
mm-hmm.
ball hard. Like Bo's kind of hitting the ball hard, but when he makes contact, Teo's just not even making any contact, like at all.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of things I'm noticing about this team. I don't think this is our year. I just don't, and not
unless
for
unless
not for
something
common
unless
reasons.
something magically happens in the next month. Like we're going to make the playoffs, and
Yeah,
we'll probably win the play-in game, like the wild card game. Like I don't doubt that, because
yeah,
at that point in time we'll talk about the fact that we need 5 starters, but we've got three that we can pretty much bank on right now. And once you get into the
right,
playoffs, you need three. You need three
yeah,
because you can do the
like
rotation, right? And
yeah,
funny enough, is Stripling is one of those starters.
yeah,
I
and
personally
Barrios
think
is not.
Stripling is very, yeah. Manoah's the man.
Yeah,
I think it's between Gaussman and Barrios, right? And Barrios is too erratic in the last little bit that I think it's Gaussman. Yeah,
he's given up more homers than any. He's given up 27 home runs this year.
yeah,
27 home
yeah,
runs, and he's still got the worst ERA of any qualified ERA
yeah.
guy in the
Yeah.
American League.
What is it? It's eight.
But he's
No,
still like
sorry.
he still has
It's
moments. It's like with him, it's feast or famine. He's either
mhm,
really good or really bad.
mhm,
So that's why his ERA is high, but that's why he has a lot of games where you say, "Wow, he pitched really well."
mhm.
Like 2/3 of his games, he's probably pitching pretty good, but when the other third, it's really bad.
Well, he's got
And
9 wins and 5 losses, because where the other guys are probably still staying in at that point in time, he's been taken out like because something's just going terribly
well,
wrong, and
the
he'll probably
biggest
come
thing
back in
is
there.
they're not swinging and missing at his stuff. They're
No.
hitting everything, which is different than it's been in the past. And what they've done is they've made an adjustment to to his delivery where he's kind of pausing up here with the glove. Walker's trying to eliminate as much movement as possible,
Mm-hmm.
and they're thinking that when he was switching the ball in his glove, that he was tipping his pitches possibly. So they're trying to do it up here, so it's harder to see, it's harder to kind of pick up coming out of his hand. So we'll see how that works.
Here's something that literally that you were mentioning, the fact that they are changing mechanics in pitchers. But I haven't noticed once that Teoscar or Bo has changed any mechanics in their hitting. Like they haven't choked up a little bit.
I
They
would love to
haven't
see a side by
loosened.
side
Yeah.
of last year to this year of
Yeah.
how their stance is for one thing.
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed differences in Teo. He's crouching a little bit more than he used to. Vladdy's doing the same thing. They're both using their knees a little bit more than last year. They were more upright last year.
But that's literally just shrinking a strike zone. But if you're not making contact and striking out a hell of a lot, like you'll probably get a little more comfortable as opposed to like crouching in, like choke up on the bat a bit.
Yeah.
Shorten your swing, do something to just make contact.
But at least now we have guys you can put in there that you're not worried to put in the outfield of a guy slumping. Like I don't mind Tapia being in there. I don't mind Merrifield being in there. And I don't mind Jackie Bradley Jr. being in there. Mm-hmm. Jackie Bradley Jr. had an awesome throw last night or yesterday. He was let's see, I guess the guy's name for the Angels. Let me see if I can find this guy's name. Because it was his first major league hit. This kid, Aguilar. Okay. Here it is. His name is Ryan Aguilar. So he hits this smoking drive down the right field line. I don't know how it was called fair. Vladdy dove for it, and it went past him, and I swear to God it was a foul ball. But anyway, they called it fair. And it's going down the line. It didn't go all the way into the corner. It kind of went halfway up. Jackie Bradley Jr. runs over there, picks it up, and fires a ball to third base because this idiot decided to try to take three. And Chapman standing literally like 7 feet off the bag and tagged him out. Like it was right there. Like Bradley it was a bounce throw, just rocket bounce throw into there, and he got him. Bradley's got a better arm than I thought. I know he's a Gold Glover, but he's got a way better arm than I thought he did because he was playing right field. He wasn't playing center because George was in center. So Jackie Bradley Jr. is just as good defensively as Bradley Zimmer ever was, but he's a better hitter. I mean, he ain't a great hitter, but he's not a 108 hitter. He's more of a 250 kind of guy, 220 kind of guy, which is fine. When you're looking at your backup outfield,
you get on base, he's still got some speed, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah. So I mean, I like the pickups we've made. It's too bad Zach Pop had to get sent down to make room for who is it? Oh, for Mesa.
He will come back. He will come back up.
I can't believe Mesa came back from a separated shoulder in 16 days.
Yeah. He'll come back. He'll come back up as soon as the roster gets expanded, and he'll be fine.
But it's tough because that means he doesn't play in the postseason, which sucks.
I mean, if he gets us there, I always felt bad for Matt Stairs because Matt Stairs came over, in that late acquisition period, in 2016, and a Canadian on the team when we're in the playoffs, it would have been cool. But he got us there. He helped us get there, and then he had to sit. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that Pop will help get us there. And Pop, we've got Pop for God. We've got him like
Pop's 25. He's 25.
We've got him for a long time, so that's good. But the other thing that people aren't realizing is when you're expanding the rosters, you can only have, after expanded rosters, you can only have 14 pitchers. So we can't add 2 pitchers. We can only add 1 pitcher.
One pitcher.
Right? Now here's the thing. Merriweather has been pitching really, really well on his rehab, and they've been keeping in the minors for now.
Mm-hmm.
So when they expand, do you bring up Pop or do you bring up Merriweather? Like if Merriweather can be what we think Merriweather has the capability of being, he would be that 100-mile-an-hour strikeout guy.
Yeah.
But is he? You bring up him or Pop? I don't know.
Well, that's the thing. It's like I think you bring up Merriweather. Pop still is, he's been pitching in the National League for quite some time, so he still has a little bit of time to get used to the American League batters, even though there is interleague play. But I feel Merriweather is going to be a little more impact right at the get-go. But
if he pitches okay,
yeah. As you said before, we've got Pop for another 5 years, and he's a kid. He'll get his shot. So,
Yeah,
but
I mean that's great, but I'm more worried about who's going to contribute to us right now.
right now,
You know what I
well,
mean? Who's the guy who's going to help us the most?
it's
That's
it's but that's the thing, right? Like I say this a lot, and it's this one still behooves me. You know, back in 2015 when we made the playoffs and we had that run, and in terms of the starting pitchers that we went with, and we didn't even use them in relief. We went down to four pitchers, didn't use uh, didn't use Burley, and
yeah.
Burley was one of our workhorses, right? Burley would have come in, even in relief, but we didn't use him at all in that entire thing. Like he became cheerleader. It was just like so, the it does suck having to drop down a pitcher and drop down thing, but it's like I don't understand their decision making on that one, and we can argue that to the cows come home because it didn't work. Like they didn't win the World Series that year.
Well,
So
look at it.
whatever they do at this
2022.
point, yeah,
Here's Merriweather has 41 games in his career. 20 of them were pitched this year. He had a 6.38 ERA, minus .4 WAR, 18 and a third innings pitched, 17 strikeouts, a WHIP of 1.4.
mm-hmm.
That was him this year. Now we don't know if that was maybe because of he was injured for a lot of that, and that's why his pitching wasn't that great.
Mm-hmm.
But so I'm looking now. Where are we? 2022 with Buffalo.
With
Okay,
Buffalo.
so here he is. So far, he's got a 0 ERA in Buffalo in 9 games.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 10 innings pitched, 15 strikeouts, a WHIP of 0.7, strikeout to walks of 3.75. That's pretty good. I mean, 9 games of giving up nothing.
Yeah.
So maybe he's the guy. Maybe he's found something. Maybe he can bring that back up here. But the thing is he a major league pitcher or is he a 4A pitcher?
4A pitcher, and that's the thing. Is like I think we bring him up and find out.
Oh yeah,
there's
I do.
no harm in it.
But if you got to give him 0 leverage, like I think you can still bring players up and down in September. So like if he's crapping the bed in the first two times you use him, you send him back down, you bring up Pump.
Yeah.
Like you can't ride that guy because we have 5th starter issues. And here's the thing. So if Mitch White pitches he's been good and he's been real bad. Okay. So if our fifth starters are really bad, that leaves us with 4 starters.
Yeah.
And if one of those starters we have has been very inconsistent, that technically leaves us with 3 starters.
3 starters. Mm-hmm.
Now, can you make the playoffs with 3 probable wins, 1 maybe, and 1 not at all? Like, is that possible? Because the whole wildcard teams all are separated by a half game right now. Everybody.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like we had a firm lock on that. Like 2 weeks ago, we were a good solid couple of games up, and then we had an awful little stretch where we should have solidified everything. But now Tampa's above us. Based on win percentage, Tampa and Seattle, it's all a half a game. But we've played 2 less games. We played 2 less games than those guys. So I mean, in theory, if we do win those games, then yeah, we jump up above them. But I mean, we're now all facing a spot where it could be a home game, it could be an away game, and then you get it doesn't even matter if you go to Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is never a home game for Tampa Bay. Poor Rays.
Shout out! By the way, shout out to Rich Hill because he pitched a hell of a game for a 42-year-old man for Boston against Tampa Bay, and they lost. Tampa lost 5-1 because Rich Hill pitched 11 strikeouts. He's 42 years old. Good on you, Rich. You got 2 pitches: curveball, fastball, and he's Canadian. Exactly.
Actually, you know what? We'll do one little quick. This will lead in. This will do a quick little lead in because I want to start a new thing for a Canadian of the week.
Oh yeah.
Woohoo! So my Canadian of the week Hence the grunge out Canada. My Canadian of the week is Marlin shortstop Charles LeBlanc from Quebec. Uh, he's actually just made his major league debut July 30th, so he's been in the league less than a month. He's got a 323 average already. This past week, it was 3 for 7. Like didn't get a lot of things, but got a home run, an RBI, and 2 hits. So I'm like, all right, cool. So uh, he's
Cool.
one of the things that I like about him though. He's super young, so and he's been bounced around from the Texas farm system to the Miami farm system. But the I want to do an episode on names in the minors, because one of the Texas farm teams that he was on was the Round Rock Express. Round Rock.
Mm.
And then he was claimed by the Miami farm team, the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. Like, that is such an
Jumbo
awesome
shrimp.
name.
I like,
Jacksonville
what's the other
Jumbo
one? I like
Shrimp.
the High Valley Iron Pigs. That's
Yeah.
another one of my favorites. I don't know what the hell an iron pig is, but
Well, I
it
mean,
sounds pretty
like,
brutal.
I still like the Lansing Lugnuts. Like, that's a great name. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
there's yeah. We should do a segment at one point of like
Yeah.
funny, like goofy names. Have you
Not
heard about
even
the
goofy.
Savannah
Some of
Bananas?
them. What was that?
Have you
Oh
heard of
yeah,
the
yeah.
Savannah Bananas?
The dancing team. Yeah, like the ones that do
Yeah,
like all the defensive things. Yeah, they're great.
where they come to the plate wearing stilts,
Mhm.
like weird stuff. Like people are very divided about this team. Like very divided, as in they're fun or
Yeah.
as in they're a horrible, horrible way of representing baseball. But I think people just come on,
I have a feeling that
it's
some
fun.
baseball fans are so stuck in, like, they're obviously doing this as a joke, and they're winning.
Yeah,
They're winning,
yeah.
right? But they're obviously doing it as a joke, and some baseball fans have to get
Well,
over
isn't it a
themselves.
reality series or something? Like, there's something more to them. I think they got
I'm
a
not
reality
sure.
series.
I'm not sure. Like they're massive presence on social media, so I always see
Oh
the
yeah,
stuff that pops up on there. But whenever I think of them, it makes me think of The Simpsons, where they were talking about Krusty being a degenerate gambler, and he's like, "I'm not a degenerate gambler. You bet against the Harlem Globetrotters." And they show that scene where he's watching TV. He's like, he's spinning the ball, for crying out loud. He's on a freaking ladder. It's like the Generals were due.
yeah. I thought they were due. Oh, yeah. That's a good episode. That
Oh
one
yeah.
that one made me kill. I haven't watched Simpsons in God knows how long.
I randomly like if it's a standard definition Simpsons, I will watch it. If it's a high def, I'm like, they're kind of weaker.
Yeah, once they started using computers to make all the animation is basically
Oh
when it
no,
started
it
kind of
has
going
nothing to do with the computer's animation. Just the writing got hacked, and then so I say
Well,
that.
I just that's what I noticed. Like after the movie was done, and they started just completely doing it by computer, I found that's just coincidentally when it started kind of going like I really didn't care.
Well,
Like
that
I
was one
always
of
thought
the
if you watch like the fact that the Simpsons have been around since before I was in high school and they're still on TV is mind
yeah
blowing to me.
yeah,
But I don't know if the episodes are any good.
and we're old.
Oh, do you know who's coming back to television?
Ew.
Beavis and Butthead.
Oh yes,
Mike
that I
Judge.
did know. That I did
So
know.
Mike Judge was doing them for a concert for some band wanted to do a Beavis and Butthead intro for the concert, and he
Yeah
did that. He's like, "Oh, I haven't done these guys in a while." So then he did this movie, Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe, which is
yeah
on Paramount Plus, I believe.
yeah.
And then this new iteration is going to be them but middle aged. So I've seen a picture of what they look like. Beavis looks like Beavis with just older, and
Mhm.
Butthead's a big fat bastard. He's this big fat dude, which
That's awesome.
one of them had to be after all this time.
Oh yeah,
So I just find that kind of funny. They're coming back and bringing that back because he said he loved doing them. He's also
that's awesome.
considering bringing back King of the Hill. But anyway,
Oh, King of the Hill's great.
um,
Here, we should probably cut another commercial just to squeeze in our ad time.
time
Uh,
time to talk about some beer.
yeah. Yes, folks, this is a beer commercial. No, there's not going to be classic rock, a ridiculous cottage by a lake with girls in bikinis trying to sell you schlock beer. However, there is a girl, and she is the brewmaster, and she makes killer beers. A small independent brewery out of the south end of this nation's capital, that is this nation, Canada. and certified kosher as well. You'll find an incredible lineup of session ales, Vienna lagers, sours, stouts, pales, and IPAs. And they're not run of the mill. So my personal favorite, the Belgian Beer Snob, which is a Trappist style ale. So they don't need to throw around the idea that your summer will be awesome if you drink their beer. They just make great beer. But if you do have an amazing cottage by the lake with jet skis and 80s rock playing in the background, it can't hurt to drink Shiloh beer too. Visit shillowbeer.com. We're running out of time, so I figure I will just cut it over to us. We won't have the little outro.
How much time we got left?
We got 10. 10.
Okay. So, is Tail going to get traded in the offseason?
I don't know. I mean, like looking at, like, as I said, looking at the two stats for the 2 weeks, but there's also the whole, conundrum of the dog days, which is August, late August,
right?
And it could be.
There's also the conundrum of payroll.
Mm-hmm.
Like all these guys they're all pre-arb or just finishing arbitration, and they're all due for raises. Like we paid the big guys. We've
got 4 guys that are theoretical core players that are coming up on a contract. I mean, we could have signed. Well, actually, it wasn't even us. It was Bo that turned down his contract. Look at
Seattle. Seattle signed Julio Rodriguez, so that's that big extension, like 14. It was 14 years at $200 million or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So my theory is we can't afford everybody.
No,
okay?
We're going to lose.
In the offseason, you're going to see Kirk's going to be trade fodder, Teo's going to be trade fodder, Bo is going to be trade fodder.
Yeah, and Bo leaving, people are gonna cry and cry and cry. Like,
I know that. And same with Kirk. People are going to lose their minds. But Orelvis Martinez is ready. Gabriel Martinez is also another name that's been coming up.
Moreno, it's going to come up. Yeah.
No, okay. No, I think there's a Gabriel Martinez too. I was reading.
No, but I'm going to say Moreno is going to come up.
And Moreno too. So because of those guys who are making pushes, you can make. There's going to be trades being made. There's something about Bo that's I'm not liking. Like he's got the most errors at shortstop again this year. He's got like 17 errors already. Most of those are throwing errors again. I mean, I thought he'd be better because he had less area to cover because of Chapman. Yeah. But when you're playing the shift 60% of the time, that just eliminates that's the thing. Like I don't think the shift helps people develop their defense when you're constantly moving people around the field all the time. Like if you're going to be short, that's why I'm glad they're getting rid of the shift next year.
I don't have a problem with them playing the shift, because if you're going to play the shift and someone hits against it, then it's fine. I don't think you need to do away with it, but I just think it's a stupid tool. I think it's a stupid setup. Yeah,
it is. So and that's I don't think it helps develop people. It doesn't. It's not helping develop Bo's shortstop abilities if he's playing on the other side of second base half the time.
Yeah,
it's like the Jays are number 1 in using the shift, but they get burned a lot. I mean, that's the thing. You're playing the percentages. You are going to get burned. Mm-hmm. It's just going to happen. I would rather just have both like decent defenders on either side of the ball, like just in like a normal setup. Like you can do the other once in a while, maybe, but not like more than half the time, because then it's just ridiculous. It's too much, and people are going to start playing against you. Maybe, I don't know, maybe we've lost a few games because we've done that. People hit against our shift all the time. Mm-hmm. It's not like it's a foolproof thing. So Chapman being there, they should have let Bo play beside him more so that he could have developed his proper defense. But his footwork is okay. His arm is still not strong enough, and his glove work is not strong enough.
And there has been some little flashes of brilliance, like Chapman has has done that little snag from behind the spin and the backhand toss to Bo, and it. Being next to each other, it'll help develop that even more, right? So they have pulled that off a couple of times. There's been 3 times in the past 2 weeks where they've done that exact play. Twice they got it. Once Bo skyrocketed the ball. So
and he makes terrible turns at second base to turn double plays. He does. I know he tries to stay in there a little bit because I'm hard nosed, I'm going to take it. But you can't. Sometimes you got to jump. Sometimes you got to move out of the way a little bit. He doesn't. I don't know. Teo, he's gotten better in the field. Absolutely,
Mhm.
he used to be a
Oh, two,
trainer,
3 years ago, he was awful. Yeah, like he
but
could
he's
always
decent
hit.
enough now.
Mhm.
So you can get rid of him now because he's now not a liability that way, and
Yeah,
he'll get you something like Teo. If you put Teo and Bo and Kirk in
in
a
a package,
deal,
you could get
like
a big name. Yeah.
you can get that power average left-handed hitter that we desperately need in the
Mhm.
outfield. We need a like Tapia is great. Like our lefties are decent hitters, but we need that like stud
Someone that's gonna
left.
throw the pitcher for a little loop because then they have to
Yeah,
readjust.
like
Yeah.
we just need more. We need more lefties in general. But I mean, we have some decent ones now. Like Bradley Jr.'s a lefty. Tapia's a lefty. That's
Mhm.
great. But
And
until we do that,
I'm a fan of Tapia because Tapia doesn't get a lot of hits, but the hits that he gets are just at the right time. Like
it's weird because yeah, his counting stats aren't the greatest. Like it just shows that he's not a great hitter. But I see I don't, that's why I don't believe in all these advanced metric stats.
yeah,
Because
but
yeah,
but his
I'm
but
with you.
the,
Tapia sucked in April. He
yeah,
really did.
but
But
when
I think
he'll get
adjustments are
that hit when
made.
someone's on second, and it's the eighth inning, and he'll get the hit, and that'll
Yeah,
bring him home.
he'll get the
You know?
occasional home run, occasional extra base hit, but he's a singles guy. He
Yeah.
really is. That's what he's going to be, and he's fast.
Hmm.
So he's a good guy to have on the bases. Um, he's a decent bench player. He's definitely not a starter. He's a good fourth outfielder.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. We've now got two good fourth outfielders, with him and Bradley. Um, I would prefer to have another better infielder, not just Cavan. Like Otto
Hmm.
Lopez was hitting pretty good in AAA, and we had him for a hiccup, and then sent him back down again.
Send it back down. Yeah.
But I think we need like our bench is better. It's not the greatest, but it's
Hmm.
better.
Well, that's
I think
that's
the
the that's
pitching. Maybe Kikuchi comes back next year. Maybe he
I
does. Maybe he
I hope
takes
so.
the off season. We have to do something with him. Like we got to
Mhm.
use him. We can't just pay a guy $36 million to play AAA baseball, which he's
Yeah.
going to end up doing because he again sucked coming out of the bullpen
Yeah.
recently. He gave up he came out of the blowout game, and I think he gave like three more walks, a few more runs. I think he just needs to be shut down completely.
Hmm.
Take him off the roster, send him down to AAA, put whatever it takes, because he offered to go down there, and Schneider's like, "No, we don't need to send you down there. You're a valuable member of our team." He is not. I've defended him all year, thinking he's going to pick it up, and he has not picked up
Picked up.
jack. So he has to go. And just I would bring up Gage, and I would bring up Merriweather as the other 14, and then send him away.
What about Thomas Hatch?
No, that's the one thing this year has proven is we do not have minor league starting
Minor league
pitching depth
pitchers.
at
No.
all. We have none.
What was
So we
Hatch?
are very
Hatch is one game up here, and he ended up with a 19.29 ERA.
yeah, and he's
Yeah.
not even pitching well in AAA from what I recall.
No.
He's just
And
he's
and
just not.
yeah, and that could be that awful start here that's just like ruined his confidence. Ugh,
Yeah.
poor guy.
Okay, so here is let's see if I can find this again. So dumb, stupid people. Okay,
We got
so
a minute and a half.
okay, guy tells me, and one of our Pissy J's fan, my one for this week, we're under 500 in August. Should never happen to a quote unquote playoff team. Well, who else has been playing under 500 in August?
The Yankees.
The Yankees. And not just under, but way under. They've been terrible. And that's what I said. He goes, the difference is we didn't lose Vlad and Romano like they lost Stanton and King. Plus, they had a nice cushion to fall back on. My point is, we need to beat these lower tier teams and not get shut out by them. Yeah, that's absolutely true. But any team can beat any team on a given
Mhm.
night, and that's just the way it is.
I
If you
still
don't think that,
the 3 game sweep that the Pirates did on the Dodgers when the Pirates were in second last place and the Dodgers were so far
yeah,
in first.
it
3 game sweep.
happens. Like any of you, if you think that we're going to have 9 players who are going to hit 3 hits every game and throw a shutout, you're delusional. Like I don't get these people who just don't get it. Even when you try to explain it to them how things actually work, they don't get it. So you know what? Start paying attention to us because you'll freaking understand what we're talking about. Like, I'm tired of you idiots making Toronto fans look like idiots. So maybe y'all should stop posting stuff. Or if you post something and we don't agree with you and give you crap for it, don't get butthurt about it and start whining about you have your own say about stuff, blah, blah, blah. If you're going to post it and it's stupid, we're going to call you out on it. And that's just the way it is. So if you don't like getting butthurt and you want people to agree with you, don't post stuff on the internet, you morons. Like, God. Ah.
I didn't realize you had one more little kick in that rant.
Oh, it
We're
was
almost done, and
terrible.
it was great. All right, we got to wrap her up. So what do we
Yep.
have this coming week? We've got two teams drowning at the bottom of the National League Central. We got three against the Cubs, where Barrios, Gauchman, and White are going to start, and then three against the
Mm-hmm.
Pirates, and then the week after,
Hopefully,
four against the Orioles.
hopefully
So
today's game we can at least take one from the Angels.
It's
Hopefully.
Stripling pitching today, so I would love to see Stripling do a third,
Yeah.
third killer
And for those of
start.
you who are watching this at 5 o'clock, we are taping this actually during the game.
Yeah,
So,
it's quarter to three. Yeah. All
all
right.
right. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. Like and subscribe.
Catch you later.